Wrong target. Thelma Howcroft is a delusional patient at the Pembroke hospital who is convinced that she is already dead or undead and trapped inside a rotting body. Despite her obvious mental issues, the woman claims she's being spied on by some men and women who want to hunt her down because she is a vampire. Is she referring to the guard of Priwen? I can't take the risk of having these hunters investigate around the hospital. Maybe I should spy on them and protect Thelma Howcroft from those hunters. Maybe I should. Can I mark that? I can do, because we did this already. So they do, yeah. Pretty straightforward.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Fair.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Damn. The pain.
Oh, that's
There
cool.
again.
So it's not actually that far away. We should look into that.
Sick again. Feel my blood.
Let's go from the inside. Let's go this way, because if it's in the gardens, maybe we've been there.
Will this shift never end? You always knew the words to calm the children. As for me,
Hi.
what a blundering idiot.
Oh, it's Pippa, I think. No,
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Good evening, sir.
it's Crane, obviously.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
That door locked.
It's
I'll
locked.
not let you down, my boy.
Hi.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reid, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reid. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
I know nothing about him.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation, they're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Quite. Waverly disapproves modern medicine methods. That's not what he said, though. That is definitely not what he said. That is definitely not what he said. Is he saying that we should, give people some leeches and things, and instead of, synthesized medicine and whatnot? In fact, the rules that protect the patients are part of modern medicine methods. They already existed back in this time.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reid, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reid.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Good evening.
There was somebody. Oh, there's the door.
Doctor.
I can get in now. What was going on here? So many people.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reid? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Right. Beatrice questions the Pembroke's hospital's efficiency.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Yeah. Oh. Pippa Hawkins has a new thing. Well, that's related to Hook. Or Hooks. Pippa saves beds for patients who can pay. She does as well. I thought she just, asked her boyfriend or husband? She says she's my man, or he's my man, so I don't know.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reid. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
And all of these require hints.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I will not let you down, my boy. So tired.
Look at all this. Why are you... Oh. Right. Are you Mortimer? Excuse me.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reid. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Well, you're gonna have to talk, because,
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest, then.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
But I must talk to you.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
We must, yeah.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reid. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
I thought he was gonna say that she's a vampire or something, because, you know, vampires everywhere. Ooh.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Fair.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
It's weird that I didn't get a hint for her.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Not very well, I'm afraid. Huh.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Curious. Beatrice Goswick. He's got fatigue. What? What the hell? What's going on? What the hell? What is that?
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
What now? Mortimer intended to take his own life. Your son lied to you. That's what really confused me the most, is the way he talked about himself. It's almost as if he were a vampire or something. The door was open while they were talking, though, so that was weird. Oh, now you're here.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case. Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want, Dr. Reid.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you then.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
Sounds like a plan, and he gave me a key.
I have to go now, sir.
I'm all right.
Falling apart.
Don't waste your time
But
with
in the
me.
circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Your son wished to die, Beatrice. Why did you hide such crucial information?
Are you not aware suicide is a crime? Mortimer could be thrown in jail. I can't let that happen. I won't.
I understand you fear the legal consequences, Mrs. Goswick. But don't you realize your silence significantly affects your son's case?
All my son needs is help and comprehension, not judgment and punishment for what he may or may not have done.
Precisely. Beatrice questions the Pembroke Hospital's efficiency, and Beatrice hid her son's suicide attempt to keep him out of jail. Okay.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
So now I assume we just need to go to find his house. I'm gonna probably need to go to side quests? No, it's local investigations. There they are. And I need to find him a little bit of tea to heal his fatigue. And we can only track one at a time.
All right. Don't waste your time with me.
I met him in New York once.
If only there were more of them. Less resignation and more determination.
I know I can count. I wish I could say the same for the others.
You look exhausted. You're pushing yourself too hard. You don't have to bear the burdens of this hospital alone.
And I was thinking that the conversation we heard Mr. Sakesh? I actually don't know where he is. The conversations we heard him have with the dead are conversations that we might be able to turn into hints by doing what we're about to do.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
We are very close, yes. But Rakesh, not Sakesh, Rakesh. Dr. Shadana has a conversation with the dead. And we need to wait for it. He's getting up. Oh, there it is. That's the symbol. I was surprised by that before. Where do I need to go? The game tells me, I think.
You ended up on my plain and cold medical bed.
We did it.
You don't mind if I search your pockets, do you, sir? You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister. I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir, and I thank you for your generous donation.
Huh. Rakesh is not afraid of the dead, or death. Rakesh steals from the dead he is responsible for. And we got experience for that, which means we can actually upgrade our skills now. I think we might have been able to do that before. Small bag of junk. I love it. Give me all the small bags of junk. Aha!
Good evening, Dr. Reid. Such a pleasure to see you again.
You steal from the dead.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
But I'm gonna buy this before you say no to me. There's 5 of them? Codeine and opium. Okay, 1 of each.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
How dare you steal from the dead, Rakesh? Is that what your pawnbrokers is really about?
These people are dead, sir. What they possessed could be useful for the living. And I'm sure they would agree if they could speak.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, Doctor. But perhaps it is because I, too, am used to the smell of the dead.
How dare you
These people...
I figured a way to avoid saying the line. You do a medical checkup. Oh. I must need to do a medical checkup on everybody. What I wanted to do is actually go in here. He served as a medic. Let's see. This is not gonna work. Dr. Swansea should be informed. That you will go to jail if caught. I think this is more pragmatic.
You may be right, but you'll go to jail if you're caught.
If ever I have to go to jail, I'm sure I'll find a way to help people there, too.
Guess that was bad.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
I don't know. Maybe we're gonna find more things. But that's pretty important. Let me go and check on other people and see if they need medical checkups.
I met him in New York once.
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reid.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
Huh. Suppose that's that. I don't think any of the...
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
I don't think any of the hints that we have so far connect.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Ooh.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see the city is crumbling down? Today, people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow, we may be fighting for food.
They may be paying you food.
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm fine, Doc. Physically, at least. But I would give everything to be in a better place right now.
All right.
Goodbye, Milton.
He is tiny. No, he's not. I was just...
I thought last summer's epidemic was difficult.
Yeah, I was just standing on top of this. That's weird. What's going on? Oh, the nurses. They're arguing with the doctor.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require medical assistance, Nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
I think this is important.
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
There's also a mesmerize that I haven't messed with.
Epidemic.
I did notice that her mesmerize was red, which means I couldn't do it. But Pippa's, I think, isn't.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Useless life as a nurse?
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
How can you be affected by the misery around you, and be so heartless at the same time? Which is the real you, Nurse Hawkins?
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reid. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless medication?
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Yeah, we knew it was our idea. We saw that.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
I might be able to catch her doing something. Oh, I didn't ask her for a checkup, though.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Do you need medical help yourself, Nurse?
I'm fine, really. I just need to sleep.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Goodbye. Oh, they're having fun. Excuse me.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood, Doctor.
No, you don't.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reid. Blood is the only drug I need.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I think I might just need to ask people who actually have... who are not healthy.
Damn disgust on every street cop.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reid.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
I see.
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Thomas sees Thelma Howcroft as living proof that there is hope for him.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
That's fair.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Well, I'll have to have a chat with her.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood. Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood, Doctor.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
I wonder what they would be.